Welcome to the Restricted Handling Daily Intel Brief. This is what's been going on in China in the past 24 hours. Xi Jinping wrapped up his visit to North Korea, marking the first official trip since 2019. While the public display was elaborate, red carpet ceremonies, military honors, and the Friendship Tower visits, the deeper story is about leverage and influence. Xi and Kim Jong Un emphasized expanding cooperation in politics, economics, and culture, planting a fir tree as a symbolic gesture. North Korean media presented the relationship as one of equals, downplaying dependency, while Beijing highlighted pragmatic state-to-state coordination. This was a subtle update from the public messaging we saw earlier in the week. The emphasis on practical cooperation, restoration of transport links, and trade discussions shows China trying to maintain its foothold without directly confronting Pyongyang's nuclear posture. For Kim, this keeps China engaged as a key patron while sustaining some room to maneuver with Moscow. The Russia factor remains in the background. Pyongyang has continued its military support to Moscow, reinforcing the Mutual Defense Pact signed last year. Xi's visit reasserts China's position without triggering overt confrontation, keeping North Korea reliant but not cornered. This week's developments show that China is refining its approach, reaffirming the alliance, emphasizing strategic communication, and deepening high-level exchanges, while leaving nuclear discussions conspicuously absent from state media coverage. Over in the Taiwan Strait, tensions remain high. Recent reporting confirms continued Chinese Coast Guard operations east of Taiwan, including questions directed at commercial vessels about origin and destination, asserting jurisdiction. Taipei has broadcast that these are Taiwanese waters, instructing ships to disregard Beijing's claims. The update here is that the triangular patrol area is now clearly defined, stretching from the Diaoyu Islands in the north, past waters east of Taiwan, down to near Kinmen in the west, forming a near encirclement of the island. Meanwhile, Taiwan continues modernizing its defense. The recent coastal drill simulated stopping an amphibious landing under more realistic combat conditions, with less preparation time and mobile artillery systems, showing an evolution toward unpredictable, survivable defensive tactics. Beijing's gray zone operations extend to the South China Sea. The Philippines reported a floating 6x6-meter structure with an antenna at Scarborough Shoal. Satellite images confirmed its presence and subsequent removal. China continues to frame these structures as scientific or maritime law operations. At the same time, Beijing is using misinformation campaigns online, claiming Japan and the Philippines have divided Taiwan's waters. Fact-checking and diplomatic messaging from Taipei and Tokyo has refuted these claims, highlighting how Beijing combines physical deployments with cognitive warfare to reinforce its claims. The U.S.-China tech confrontation is heating up. The Pentagon expanded its Section 1260H list of firms with alleged military links, including BYD, Alibaba, Baidu, Wuxi AppTech, RoboSense, and Unitree. These updates indicate more firms spanning AI, robotics, biotech, EVs, and chip production are now under scrutiny. While no immediate sanctions apply, contracting and procurement restrictions will affect U.S. agencies starting later this year. Chinese companies have pushed back, labeling the designations as baseless and politically motivated. These developments underline the strategic tension in advanced technologies, including AI, semiconductors, and robotics, where U.S. security concerns intersect with global market competition. In parallel, Beijing is advancing its AI infrastructure. A reported $295 billion plan over 5 years will build interconnected data centers operated largely by state firms using domestic technology, including Huawei chips for most systems. This is an update from prior reports. The focus now appears to be on networked computing hubs capable of supporting national AI ambitions, not just isolated deployments. The AI boom is also impacting exports. May 2026 saw shipments of integrated circuits, high-tech goods, and automobiles rise significantly, reinforcing China's economic leverage even as some factory sectors slow. On the domestic security front, the Ministry of State Security highlighted risks from AI relay platforms, third-party gateways to large language models, which may expose user data, enable resale of personal information, or allow backdoors for surveillance. Beijing is coupling this with campaigns for AI governance and secure cross border data management, signaling a growing emphasis on controlling the domestic tech environment to protect state and commercial secrets. The PLA remains active, though the strategic signal outweighs the tactical detail. Air combat exercises continue with J-11BG fighters under the Western Theater Command maintaining readiness. Internationally, China is deepening military cooperation with South Africa, expanding joint training, strategic communication, and specialized exchanges. Together, these moves show Beijing pursuing a dual-track approach, consolidating regional influence and partnerships abroad while tightening control over domestic technology and military capability. Finally, these developments form a pattern. China is reinforcing influence over North Korea, applying pressure around Taiwan, consolidating its tech industrial base, and projecting maritime and information operations across multiple theaters. The subtle changes and updates we see this week emphasize that Beijing is actively managing perception, alliance dynamics, and economic leverage, all while avoiding overt escalation that could trigger a broader strategic backlash. Thanks for listening and for being part of this community. If you want to support the show, leaving a review or a thoughtful comment helps others discover it. We also share a daily written intel brief on Substack, restrictedhandling.substack.com, where we go deeper on Russia and China, along with broader coverage of Iran, the Middle East, and the DPRK. Wishing you a great day ahead.